Good morning, everyone. My name is Shalini. For those of you that don't know me, I run a business called Legally Shalini, and my key service is contracts and drafting terms and conditions, which of course is a hot topic in businesses now, because there is such a conversation around, cancellation of services and refunding clients, and of course the impact that has on business at large. Um, Nobody is unaffected by this. You could be a micro business, you can be a small business, you can be a medium-sized business, or you can be a global corporation. It does not matter. In some shape, state, or form, you will be very much affected by what is happening with this pandemic at the moment, and it's likely to go on for some weeks, months, and the effects are likely to be around for some time longer than just the next few months. So, what I wanted to talk to you about today is, in fact, how to manage uh, cancellations and requests for refunds. Basically, before I launch into that, one thing that I'd like you to remember is that you do not need to, immediately be, someone rings up and says, I want to cancel my event and I want to refund you. You need to take care of your family first, but of course, and it is perfectly fine to contact people and to respond to them and say, yes, thank you, I've received your email and your request. I'll be dealing with it in due course, because it is really unusual times. You are dealing with making your own personal space safe, as well as quite possibly a spike in the amount of admin work and response work that you need to do in managing this crisis that's affecting all businesses, including yours and mine. So that's number one. Your family does come first, and you need to deal with that, and people will understand but just communication is everything. Sending an email back saying, yes, I hear you, I have received it, and I will deal with it in due course. The second thing I want to talk to you about is the actual contract situation. So there's two situations. Some businesses have contracts with their clients, known as client agreements or service agreements, and some businesses don't. They've flown under the radar and have just gone ahead and done business. Um, they may have one in place and it hasn't been reviewed for some time, or it was a template they used and they just handed it out, and they don't really understand what actually their contract is all about. Regardless of that, if there is a contract in place, you need to go back and have a look at it and find out what was in it and how the refund and cancellation process is actually described within the contract, because that is what you and your client have agreed to in terms of what process needs to be followed if there is a cancellation and refund situation. So if the bottom line there is, of course, is that is the policy that applies. So if you have a cancellation and refund situation in your business, then you need to apply it. So if someone has actually cancelled within time, or within the processes that they have agreed to within the contract, then that is the refund and cancellation policy that should be applied, regardless of what's going on around you. They have a right to do that, provided they follow certain steps. If if the situation is a bit different, if you are cancelling the event. So if you are cancelling an event, and it's not it's a, it's a little bit tricky. If you are cancelling an event, even though you could still have offered that event, then you need to again look at your contract to see how to manage the cancellation and refund policy in the contract, and the costs that may be involved. Generally speaking, the contracts that are well drafted are quite clear about this sort of thing. If you are cancelling because of forced restrictions, that's another situation where you will have to have a think about how your contract responds to that situation. The reason I'm not giving, solutions is because every contract is different. If you don't know how your contract responds to something like that, you need to get legal advice and get some advice about how to respond in terms of do I cancel and offer a refund? Am I allowed to, um, redirect those fees accepted for that event that's now been cancelled to a later date? Do I have to give a refund? Can I take my costs out of the refund? These are all questions that are not able to be answered unless the contract is actually looked at by the person who is advising you. If you don't have a contract, then it's definitely time to consider getting one, because these are the times where you need to have a platform in place to negotiate with clients about outcomes that are going to minimize loss to everybody. It's very difficult to have a conversation with a client about what to do because of the situation, because you are forced to do something or they want to cancel for some reason, when there is nothing to work from. I can't stress this enough. I have, so many times said it online that, if do yourself the favor and have a platform of negotiation in place. The contract may not be perfect, but at least you have something to work from. It is really, really important. If you are thinking that you want to be, you want to have put up a notice on your website or on your shop front or whatever that says, cancellation and refund policies under the coronavirus pandemic situation, please don't, because you can't introduce new terms and conditions just because you want to. You have to honour the terms and conditions that you have signed and entered into with your clients. You can't, and surely unless it's advantageous to people, they're not going to take any notice of it. So just don't do it. Take each request from clients to discuss their contract with you, discuss the service with you, discuss your event with you, take them all individually and consider all the circumstances involved, and then make a decision. Now, if you're working in an industry that's quite sort of like small and people talk to each other, which most of us are, it's really important to understand that if you are going to make a blanket decision about refunding everybody or refunding a client, I understand that whatever you do, you need to do, think about being very consistent across all your clients, because you don't want people to talk. You want always to come across as having made a decision for your business and for your client that was fair, consistent, and not something where you favored one client and didn't favor another. So be very careful about doing that. And this is why if you have a contract, that really helps you set out what you can do and what you can't do. So that's that. Also, when you are deciding to waive your refund policy and refund regardless of the policy, it may jeopardize, insurance claims that your clients may have with insurers. Now, it is unlikely that most insurance, business interruption insurance or business insurance or different insurances will cover coronavirus, but still it pays to have the conversation with your client that if they for some reason do plan to make a claim against their travel insurance or their event insurance, their wedding insurance or whatever insurance they have, that you make sure that they do that first. Because if you waive your terms, it may in fact, and refund them, it may in fact jeopardize their claim against their insurers. So these are little bits and pieces that have come to me, in my conversations with people and questions that they have about what type of refund should they offer, do they need to offer a refund and a transfer of dates or services to a later date, etc. The important thing to remember is that if you don't understand your contract, get it reviewed. If you need advice and support on how to negotiate with clients, to have, I guess, options offered to them, and you don't know what options they could be, again, get help. Speak to myself or someone who's able to provide you with ideas and support you through a negotiation process with your clients. If you don't have a contract in place, now is the time to start thinking about one, because we will come out of this. It is not something that we will forever destroy businesses, never to do business again. So once you are rebuilding your business, you must think about making your terms and conditions and your client contracts a priority. The other thing to remember is that you are just as much likely to be seeking to cancel a service and obtain a refund just as much as someone is likely to be asking that of you. So, be mindful of how you're treating and how you're treating people during this time. Flexibility, creativity, compassion, as much as possible, educating people about your contract, educating yourself about your contract. These are all very, very important things at this time as a business owner. It's really, something that you need to think about in order to survive, because how you manage yourself and your business and your clients during this time is going to determine if those clients do business with you again once this is over and your services, are required again, or people are feeling more confident to engage again. So this is all I have to say today. It's a bit longer than I normally talk for. If you have any questions or you would like to speak to me about anything, I'll put my details in the post description, and get help if you need it. And all the best. Look after yourselves, and look after each other. Have a great day. Bye.